안녕하세요. We're back with another react, and I'm just showing a lot of love for Twice right now because of the anniversary, because it's October, and I do have some. I haven't forgotten about any other groups that got more videos that are coming. I just am also contending with a lot of other things, schedule changes, and it's getting a little crazy. It's getting a little crazy over here. So I'm just doing the best I can to keep up and trying to get something out, each day. So it's real fortunate that we do have this 7th anniversary event is to enjoy with Twice. As I stated before, it's my first Halloween, but holiday season with Twice. They usually have some pretty fun things going on. I've seen, compilations and other videos and social media posts and stuff that show a lot of the activities around the holiday season. So I have gone back to the earlier works of the group, and this is also going to be it's a bit earlier. It's not the very beginnings, but it's a little bit earlier in the timeline, in the discography. So let's check out LIKEY by Twice.
한번 허리를 훅 들어 차차차 다이버터 베이베 세상엔 예쁜 옷이 너무나도 많고 많아 비비 크림 빠빠빠 립스틱을 맘맘마 베라에 담아볼까 예쁘게 이거 보면 웃어줘 그리고 꼭 눌러줘 저 밑에 앙증 먹고 새빨간 근데 좋아요란 말을 건네 내 맘 표현하기엔 부족하네 근데 좋아요 잠도 못자도 지각하게 돼도 좋은걸 그저 바라보고 있지 아무 말도 할 수 없지 조금만 더 다가와요 내 맘 알아줘요 더 이상 감추고는 싶지 않아 오늘따라 기분이 꿀꿀해 안 그런 척 해봐도 슬프니 반응 없는 것 때문에 삐졌는데 이치 없이 친구들이 나오라고 불러내 잠깐만 연락이 이제야 오는 걸 후 하루 종일 기분이 왔다 갔다 올 때가 또 다시 신나서 춤추네
You know, it's an interesting concept too, isn't it? It's a little bit like it's kind of meta. Uh, Obviously there's like the easy to relate to understandable sort of social media concept that's going on, but it's because it's a big part of what they do as far as the marketing and promotion, which is one of the things they give credit to, like JYPE for example, right? Because they're just so good at incorporating like all aspects of the industry. It's not just that they have good songs. It's not just that they have good promotions. It's not just that they have the talent and the performers, but they really understand all aspects of it, including the marketing and the promotions. And it seems like obvious, like a no-brainer, right? But their approach to it, and then there's certain platforms that are prominent in the Eastern Hemisphere regions. Not, they're not the same here, like the V Lives, and what is it? Is it the SM one? There are certain platforms where, like, I've seen, and you have you sign up to them. It's similar to social media platforms here, but with sort of like a focus on the K-pop groups and other sort of celebrities from Korean pop culture and stuff. And it's very like it's smart. For one thing, it's smart. It's a very, very smart and efficient approach to things. They don't really seem to have any other that's how they do everything, in other words, but you can make that connection too if you enjoy like the V Live footage, the kind of the candid sort of stuff that you see when you, I mean, that's what this video makes me think of, right? And it's also, as far as like songwriting, it's pretty interesting too, because I mean, I guess depending on your taste, right? But it's not like, it can be easily pretty cringe if you wanted to try and make a song about like getting likes on social media or whatever. But I'm looking at the lyrics and it manages to avoid that, because the context, it's not really cringe worthy. It's another very thoughtful sort of take on things. Like, they don't JYPE for I say for every group, but just you don't see things being thrown together or like slapped together just in an expedient manner to try and generate something, just without putting in the work, I guess, right? Like it doesn't happen that way. So I just thought of this contextually, like this is it's of course it's very smart, it's very well done, as usual. These are not like exceptions or whatever. It's always the same level. Now musically, it's very fun, it's very upbeat. There's some interesting sounds in the mix, as usual. I always like it because it's such a good mix. It's something, they just the instrument voicings that are chosen, they're always very can I say, very original. Like, it doesn't just sort of fit into a cookie cutter type of selection of like, okay, well, it's going to be this drum sound and this bass sound and then this synth sound over it, because everybody else does that same type of arrangement or mix. It's always something different. It's just I hear, of course, they have a good bass sounds in this. Obviously, the synth bass is there, but you have these synth horns running this arpeggio pattern. Mostly, I think it's like pre-chorus, and then during this sort of bridge breakdown maybe section, there was a very very nice guitar sound that was in there. That was not synth. That was played. It's got a little bit of like overdrive on it, and it's very melodic. It's not very complicated at all. But it just sounds so good. It sounds amazing. Rhythmically, I actually like. Of course, they always have good rhythms in most of their parts. And I've come to really appreciate the work that like Chaeyoung and Dayeon do on their rap parts, because it's super interesting. It's just they're good. Like, yes, of course they're always good at it, but it's very it's just super interesting, the sort of contrast that you get rhythmically whenever their parts come around, and the way that they handle those parts, the delivery, the writing, in some cases, right? It's such a perfect fit for every different song, and every song has its own feel. It has its own, it's not cookie cutter. It's not fast food type. It's just like it's custom. It's original. It's like one of a kind. Whether it's the composition or the delivery, just the approach to it, but it always has such a perfect fit and feel for the songs, which the point is that they're always so different, so they can just make it work over anything. It doesn't matter like what it is that they're doing. So this started off with a sort of like heavily compressed percussion track that was going on, and then it has maybe like a bit of an intro, not necessarily, but it was weird, right? There's a rhythmic change up that happens between that and then when the actual rhythm of the song gets introduced, but and then we go into the first verse, and I liked how Nayeon's vocal part was more like, it's not so much staccato. I mean, maybe the phrasings, right? Like, because she kind of sings for maybe half the measure, and then you get the end of the last beats, and then the next measure will start up, and the next phrase will only last for a couple of beats. There's a lot of space, and then Geos comes in with her part and begins to add a little bit more melody and begins to fill in some of that space, and it's very smart, dude. It's so smart. Every time I hear this, man, it's the way I would compose something. Like, I always agree with this. I'm always like, okay, yes, that's exactly what you do. It's exactly what you do. And it's just another example of that, where it's very clear. It's not hard to detect. So very very wonky sort of synth horns going on here, with some other sort of arpeggiation that's going on, that sounds almost like a pitch percussion that's going on, but it's sort of like yanks you out of that beginning heavily compressed percussion part, but and you get that little like wind down, like it sort of feels like, oh, you just got pulled into something else. It's a huge sound. When that bass comes in, it's just massive. It's gigantic. It's just, and it's like, and it's panned pretty evenly. I mean, the balance on this is nothing's like more left or more right in the headphones. It's just you get this entire wash, like this wave of just the bass and the rest of the mix as it fills in. It's crazy big. You hear the horns, boom bum bing bum bing bum, boom bum bing bum bing bum. That's like, it's such an interesting choice for instrument voicing. It works so well. Crazy 808s again. Hat fills. Gio and Jamyeon's parts. They just fill in all that space, right, rhythmically, from what Nayeon's was a little bit more broken up, a little bit more detached, and then they start to fill it in and add a lot more melody to it. Just the way it builds up, it's always just, it's something I agree with completely on a compositional level. Now the line has a sort of an upward inflection towards the end, where in the opening is da 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 da, like it came down. Each phrase would come down, and now the phrases are ending on more of an upward inflection. Just another contrast as the sections advance. So I hear a little bit of guitar now in this section, and everything is just outlining the chords. 4 on the floor percussion, just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of the other sounds are just outlining the chords as the progression goes through, and the crazy high frame rates on these on this sequence here. It's just man, it's just fun. It's just classic Twice fun, right? See what I mean? Like the songwriting, like is such a common word, not enough to express my feelings. It's I don't know, it's would be so much like, you know, you could easily just phone it in, right? You could, like you easily could, because of the tech sort of lingo and all. You could easily phone that in, but it's not. It's more like somebody's, you know, like if you had somebody whose sensibilities were developed before the advent of social media and the online sort of internet-based communications, writing about it as if it, you know, just the what writing used to be, you know, in other words, before the internet came along. Such a great contrast, right? As they move into the sort of second verse section, this bass pretty much doing all the work and carrying the weight of the chord progression right now. But you still get those sort of funky, wonky synth horn arpeggios going on. And the vocal parts bringing in the melody, much more melodic. But again, a great contrast, right? There's still space like there was in the first verse when it started, but it's just sort of framed differently by the particular voice, like the voicings that are used, right, from in the mix. But it's a great contrast. Like it's not necessarily that they added something new. It's just that there are certain voices that are just at the forefront now. They've been there the whole time, but it's a different selection from the beginning. And I added a little pop, right? That it's it's very cute. It's choreography, even though it's only hand movements. Like, it's still choreography. It's just an interesting thing. That's all. It's just interesting. The way physical movement is incorporated into a lot of the choreographic work. Crazy shot. Do you hear that guitar? It's crying in the background. It sounds so good. It cuts through all of this space, because much of your sound has dropped out now, and you have the vocal part that's going on with some, I'd call it more like atmospheric sounds in the mix. It's keeping the presence of the chord progression, but it's not emphasizing any of it. And instead, this guitar sound is just slicing through everything. But it sounds so good. This sounds so good, man. This guitar sound. Oh, it's so good. Resolution into the rap part. And there's such a good change up right here, right? Because the percussion started to build up and sort of bring, back around the fullness of the mix, right? After that sort of breakdown. And then there's going to be another change up here that's going to have an excellent contrast, much like the difference between the first verse section and the second verse section. Bring it back. Yeah, very, very like throwback sort of synth sounds in this. Like it's feels very familiar. It feels very like maybe mid 90s, dance, electronic stuff, but also feels very new. The mixes are always just genius. The genius mixes. Man, it just never disappoints. It never drops at all in the entertainment value, in the production value. Like and I don't think it matters. Like I jumped in, way after the fact. I caught up with them with the feels. I mean, that's, but I don't think it matters, dude. You could watch their work from the beginning. You could watch it from the end. You could go backwards. You could go forwards. You could do what I do and kind of like randomly pick, like, okay, I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that, and this and that. But it only gets better. It's weird, man. It's like, it's amazing. It's crazy cool, and I love it. But it's just so fractal and just strange how it literally doesn't matter. Like it's hard to, and I mean this in a complimentary way, it's hard to see how the group like gets better, because there's never any example of something that's not better. It doesn't apply. Everything that you see and listen to and hear, like, it's like, okay, this is my new favorite thing in the world, right? Like, it never misses, it never fails. It's crazy. It's insane. The characteristics of those selections for the instrument voicings in the mix and all of this, like, it's intuitive that the production minds behind this, the people who are putting these tracks together, they genuinely have such a love and a taste for all different kinds of music. And I mean all different kinds. You don't get such interesting mixes like this from someone who sort of adheres to one like genre or style or whatever. This is from minds that like listen to everything and always have. Like, they've always listened to everything. Like, I'm gonna listen to this, I'm gonna listen to that, and have at least an appreciation for something, for some aspect of whatever it is that they're listening to. It can be as complicated or as simple, but there's something that they'll sort of identify and come to understand and have an appreciation for. And it seems to me like that's the only way that you can arrive at putting together these types of mixes and arrangements, and even the composition and everything. It's just like, it's such they're great fans of music, and if you see in anything of JYPE, if you know that that's true. Like, if you watch JYPE in anything, like this is something I noticed right away in the 16 series. Like, as soon as he started speaking and saying things and trying to have the ideas that he's expressing, and the reactions that he would have to some of the things that the girls were doing, it was very clear that, like, oh wow, this dude like is music. Like, this dude lives and breathes it, music and performance and production and like everything. Like, this dude like has always been tuned into this, like since he sort of realized the capacity to do it. So it makes sense that the rest of the crew, right, the people who are working on this probably are cut from that same sort of material, right? Like, they're from the same similar sort of backgrounds and stuff. But it's just another thing that I come to appreciate about the group and about JYP, for sure. And it isn't like it's only JYP, or it's only like, you'll find this throughout, I think, most of K-pop, pretty much, from everything that I've heard anyway. These are just, this is where most of your genuine, informed appreciation for music and production and entertainment is today. That's what it is. I mean, and I enjoy it all. I'm not gonna not enjoy. I'm not gonna miss out on it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm a fan. That's why I'm a fan of K-pop and of Twice. Like I've said before, they were the first K-pop experience I ever had, and they're so good that here I am, almost 100 videos later, and I'm still doing, K-pop, and I'm still doing a lot of Twice. And like I said, the other groups, I haven't forgotten about them. I'm just doing this because it's October and it's anniversary times for the group, and so I just wanted to emphasize my appreciation for it is all. That's all I'm doing. But we'll definitely get back into the other groups. There's tons of stuff. I already have a few videos lined up that I've already done, and I think I just need to make it through this weekend. Like this weekend's super busy. Outside of just the video stuff, it's super busy with work and with other things. So if I can make it through this weekend and we get through the end of October, there'll be other stuff down the pike for sure. A lot of the newer groups, a lot of the younger groups, a lot of the other big names that are out there. So haven't forgotten them, but I also can't deny that I am a once, and I absolutely just adore Twice. Always will. I have no problem admitting to that. So we just love everything here. Okay, we just really enjoy all this. So that was Likey by Twice, and it's another classic Twice song, right?